Hi, this is Timothy Zahn, author of Thrawn, and you're listening to Star Wars Reactions. Good for you.
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it?
In 1977, George Lucas formed a legacy.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
Inspired by mythology, his saga has become a passion for many.
Feel the Force around you.
His legend has become our story.
It's true. All of it.
One of resistance,
We are the spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the First Order down.
rebellion,
Rebellion is built on hope.
and redemption.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is Star Wars Reactions.
Remember, the Force will be with you. Always.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Star Wars Reactions. We are back, and we are going to have a fantastic show for you this week. I have been looking forward to this one for a while, since I actually got it on the books. I have been so excited for this one. So let's not waste any time. Let us get the party started. My name is not David Waters. Carabast already. Oh, Lord. It's going to be one of those nights, my friend. I am Aaron Harris. The other voice you heard is my co-host, David Motters. David, brother, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I still don't think that's the record. I think you've done a Carabas moment within the first 1 to 2 seconds. That might be 3 to 4 seconds in. So I don't think it's the record, but no, I'm with you. I've been really looking forward to recording tonight and having this guest on, and I'm ready to react, and just looking forward to it, buddy.
Awesome. Well, we are, of course, doing another one of our reaction chat series, which we love to do, where we just get to sit down and talk to another Star Wars fan, explore their fandom, get their points of views, because, everybody has a different point of view on things, and some of them align, some of them don't, but none of that matters because we're all Star Wars fans. At least none of it should matter, because we're all Star Wars fans, and it's okay to like things that other people don't like, and for other people to like things you don't like. Doesn't matter, because we're all big, happy Star Wars family. At least we should be, and that's how we're promoting it. So, joining us is a Star Wars fan in her own right. She is a part of, or was a part of, the Certain Point of View podcast family, big Star Wars fan, who I actually had the honor of being connected to through my sister, who does not like Star Wars. So how that happened, I'll never know. But join us in welcoming Jessica McNair to the show tonight. Jessica, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys? Thanks for having me on.
We're doing good. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us. It is going to be a great show, and it's going to be fun. And like I said, this is something that when I got on the books, I got super excited because now I can get all the dirt on my sister in Arkansas.
No dirt. Kim
No
is wonderful.
We talking about the same Kim?
Yes,
Oh, just
we
kidding.
are.
Just kidding. I love my
I
sister.
actually got to watch some Star Wars with her and your niece, which was really fun. So.
Oh, I know that you have no clue how much joy that has brought to my life, that my niece has gone full Star Wars on her.
I love it so much too.
Oh, it brings joy to my life. And matter of fact, the day we release this episode, my sister will actually know, the week after we release this episode, my sister will be here. So
Yay.
So her and my niece are coming down for my daughter's 16th birthday. So
Oh, how fun.
we'll get to spend some time with them, and I'll get to really, indoctrinate my niece some more. So it'll be
I
fun.
love it. I think one of my whole goals is getting more women and girls involved in Star Wars and loving it. So it just makes me happy. So
Perfect. Well, that's the way it should be. I mean, it's for everybody, and there's so many good stories to tell, and so many good stories out there. Everybody can enjoy it, and that's why, honestly, that's why we do these episodes where we can meet other fans and expose listeners to other fans out there to learn these different things that, because somebody may have a point of view or have an idea that you may never have thought of before, and open up your mind to a whole new point of view, a whole new world. So let's jump into this. Let's get this started. Of course, David and I will alternate asking questions as we go. But let's start off with just, the straightforward basic question: how and when did your Star Wars fandom start?
I honestly do not remember a time that Star Wars has not been a part of my life. My parents, I would say that they are fans. I wouldn't say they're definitely not on the level that I am, and they have very much enjoyed my love for it. But they were in their 20s when the original movie came out. And so they got to see all of those in theaters and kind of see how, this at the time little movie that possibly might not have been anything grew into this massive saga and fandom that it has. And so it was something, we had the VHS of the originals, and I just grew up watching them. And I am probably the youngest, not on my dad's side. I think there's one cousin that's younger than me, but I'm an only child. My parents were married 17 years before they had me. And so my cousins growing up were kind of more like my siblings, when I got to see them. And on my dad's side of the family, there were three boys. My uncle, my dad's brother, had three boys that were all close to my age. And we would play Star Wars growing up. And so I would play, video games, which was, the, Nintendo, the Super Nintendo. And we would play those games, and some of my earliest memories are playing that, and then playing make believe Star Wars things. And I always got to be Princess Leia, which was amazing. And I just, those are some of my fondest memories growing up with family, is that. And then it's just kind of followed me through my life. I think, in uh, I was like 10 when the Fandom Menace came out, and so it wasn't much too long after, playing make believe with my cousins and watching the originals, that those came out, and then those came out through my teenage years, and then the sequels in my adult life. So it's just kind of always, to some extent, been a part of my life, which is, I think, great. So.
Very
Wow.
cool.
Wow. I love it. I love it. Well, to piggyback off what you were just saying there, with my question, it reads, what was it about Star Wars that appealed to you as a fan?
I think that's kind of changed a little bit, and I think it probably does for everybody, especially if you start in the fandom at a young age. But at first, as a kid, it was definitely Princess Leia. I was obsessed with her. Her, like, in fiction at the time, was mostly Disney movies and Star Wars. And so Princess Leia and Princess Jasmine were my just idols as a young girl. And so I loved watching Princess Leia. I loved how, she had this amazing femininity about her, and she had the most amazing hair and clothes and costumes, but she also was just so fierce. She had so much determination. She was brave, she had kindness, she was selfless, and she was a loving person too. But it's like, you know, I just loved that she wasn't the damsel in distress, but she still had a softer side to her. And that really appealed to me as a little girl. Um, and then just seeing her doing the right thing and always persevering in adversity. I think she was just a great role model for me as a child. Um, and I saw myself in her. And I've always been small. I'm only 5'1". And so to see this, petite ball of sass portrayed in, you know, I in the on the screen was just wonderful. I just identified with that. And then, as a teenager and into adulthood, more of the themes and the style of the films, and stories that continue to appeal to me. And the top kind of themes that hit me kind of change throughout different stages in my life. But, just found family, perseverance in the presence of evil, selflessness, bravery. Those have always been something that has stuck out to me in the storytelling. And I've also kind of even loved the more nuanced things that are in the stories, whether it's, the political climate and, how that can reflect to real life or even psychology. My dad's a therapist, so I grew up with a dad that is a counselor, and so psychology has always kind of been a part of my life, and so I love kind of nerding out on Lucas's influences of that, and how you have to face your darkness and your shadow side. Carl Jung was a big influence to Lucas, and so I love kind of seeing that and how it is portrayed through media, um, and how you can kind of learn from that even in your life, and so just the relatability, even though it's set in it's not even really sci-fi, it's something completely different, but I mean, it's just its own thing, but to see all of these themes and characters and strong women and different things in a franchise it's just been appealing to me in every way, I guess. So it's kind of a long answer to that question, but
That's really
it's just
cool.
been great. So
Yeah, anytime we have a guest, you're probably the first one ever to bring up a major historical figure in psychology like that with Dr. Carl Jung. And so props to you.
oh, thanks.
You were talking to a fellow therapist, or well, like your dad. I've been a psychologist for 30 years, so
Oh, I love that.
so bring up psychology and Dr. Carl Jung. I mean, I now I really see why Aaron had you on here. Holy mac!
Yeah, I would love. I mean, that's something I've always wanted to have a whole discussion about is psychology in Star Wars, but I can't seem to find anybody that really wants to get on that level with it. So,
Well,
we can do that for you. Definitely
yeah,
can.
we can definitely make that happen for you. That is not an issue at all. Because David, on occasion, we have our David does a psychology corner on the show and discusses psychology of this of what we're covering. If there's a big psychological impact in it, and we do that quite regularly. It's actually a regular part of our show. So we could
yes.
and we do have in the past, and we've been talking about getting it going again when there aren't any shows to review. But we've talked about we have done profiles of characters in the past.
Yeah.
And
I love that. That's
talk about
amazing.
getting that going again. So I think I found somebody for you, David. To
Well,
break
Yeah.
down those characters with.
well,
On a
Jessica and
deeper
I,
level than me.
we're peas in a pod.
I love it. That's amazing.
Oh my gosh, this is perfect. I love this. So I mean, in your answer to that question, you did bring up the themes that have run through the stories and through the saga, and they, like you said in your statement, they do change as a person grows in their fandom, and even as they grow older, themes may speak to them differently. But looking at the Star Wars saga now, not necessarily when you first started, but looking at the saga now as an adult, what themes speak to you right now, looking at the story and at the saga?
Um, I think for me right now, where I am in life, I've actually personally really gotten into yoga. Um, and so I love how a lot of things, it's cheesy, but like how that kind of relates even in Star Wars about, finding um the light inside of you and that power inside of you, and using that for good in the world and being your best self, and that we're going to have hard things happen. We're going to have hard decisions that we have to make. There's going to be people around us that we don't always agree with, but what do you do with that? And that force, whatever you want to call it, in for me, if it's God or the universe or whatever you want to reference that to, I love how that kind of parallels in this whole space of fantasy,
Mhm.
and I really love how um, it just really is such a welcoming environment, or it should be. I mean, the universe of Star Wars has all kinds of people and personalities and all of those things. And so, um, and the hope, I love hope. I love how hope is such a theme in Star Wars. And as an adult as well, found family. I think that I'm very fortunate to have an amazing family, but I know that that is not the case for everyone. And I also know that friends are such an important part of our life. And I love the focus on that in Star Wars, that, you can find those people that you might not be blood related, but you're family, and how it shows different people that how you can mentor and be there for someone else in a way that even if you're not related per se, um, you can still have that connection and that relationship with them. And I think as adults, that's very important to have that in your life. And so just that right now for me, I think has been something that I love seeing. And the fact that also that with hope, there is redemption, people can change. There is good in people, and they can find that. It's a little more. It's a little more open, I guess, in Star Wars, in the universe. If you look at Darth Vader, I wouldn't say that maybe his redemption would be as easy in our world. I think there would be more maybe consequences to that, but I love seeing how in this story, in this fictional story, how someone who has done so many bad things can be redeemed and then is easily ushered back into the light. And I think that is such a hopeful message that, no one's too far gone, and I love that. So hopefully that answers the question.
Perfectly. Perfectly. I love it.
Yeah. Well, let me jump to the next question. No, that was just excellent, Jessica. So here's another one. Let's throw this one at you and see what you think. Um, what has been, fandom's biggest impact on you?
um I tend to try to focus on the positive.
Mm.
So I've had positive and negative impacts from the fandom. But for me, I think the idea that Star Wars is supposed to be, and I kind of said a little bit about this earlier, but that it's supposed to be the love that people have for it, and I love seeing that in people, and in the fans, and that's amazing. And I love that you can find some of the most creative, some of the most loving, passionate, diverse, inclusive, and kind people in this fandom. And I try to focus on that. There are unfortunately some negativity in it, obviously, and some people that like to find different things to hate. And sometimes I wonder if those people are actually really listening to the stories that are in Star Wars and that sort of thing. But um, there's gonna be people who are never happy, and there's gonna be people who don't like everything. And I also don't want to be like toxic positive and like everything's great and I'm never going to say something that I don't like, because I think that as a group, I hope that we can come to a place, kind of like you guys were saying in the beginning, where we're not going to like everything and we're not going to agree on everything, and that's okay. We should be able to have those discussions in a respectful and kind and understanding way. It doesn't have to be hateful, it doesn't have to be othering and divisive, but seeing the opportunity that the fandom has to be this force for good makes me want to fight for that even more when I see that negativity. It makes me want to fight for the good that is there. And it's hard. It's hard. I mean, I know that I've gotten caught in things where I've wanted to respond in a really snarky or not so kind way to people,
Sure.
especially being a woman in the fandom. There's a lot of hate towards us sometimes by people. And being someone who likes all of them, all of the different, trilogies kind of equally, people don't like that. They don't like that you like the prequels, originals, and the sequels. They don't like that, and that's okay though.
It
um,
is. It is.
so I think the positive side, the good that is in it, has impacted me the most, and I just constantly am trying to be a better person and grow myself and not let the negative side of it affect me as much. Um,
Well
and that's
said.
hard. It's hard, but we can all get there.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely, we can get there, and that's one reason we do these episodes. Like you said, I mean, we want to get these point of views out, and we want fandom to be a positive place, and we do our best. Now, David will testify. We do our best to try to avoid as much negativity, and it's. I mean, it's okay not to like stuff, and it's
Yeah.
okay to like stuff.
Yeah.
But it's when you let what you like and what you don't like become almost I can't even think of the word right now. If
Like an
become
obsession almost,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly. An obsession to the point where your view is right and everybody else's is wrong, then we have issues.
Yeah.
And I think that's why um and that's why we do this, because all point of view, I mean, even David and I, we've had discussions before where he's liked stuff that I haven't liked, and it's not that I've liked stuff he hasn't liked. I mean, we have there's going to be stuff we don't like, but that's basically just going to be the law of numbers. With as much content as we're getting, there's going to be stuff we don't like. It's bound to happen, but that should not affect how you react to other fans and how you react to other humans, because at the end of the day, we're all still human.
Yes.
We're all still on this earth together, and we still got to get along. we got to live together, we got to work together, and everybody, if you ask anybody or anybody, they're always going to say they want to make the world a better place. You're not going to do that by being divisive about a movie. So you got to pick your poison. So do you want to change the world, or do you want to fight for your movie? Pick what's important. Because in the end, we all got to get along. So I love this. I love this. So, so getting into some of the nitty gritty of your fandom here and exploring it, do you, throughout your fandom, have you had any favorite moments, Star Wars moments or experiences that you would say is your absolute favorite that you've been able to experience?
I mean, going to see any of the Star Wars movies in theaters is always an incredible experience. Going to see recently Return of the Jedi with my dad in theaters was a memory that I will have forever. Another memory with my dad that I love is seeing Solo with him and my mom, and just seeing the joy on his face because Han Solo and Harrison Ford are some of his like favorite characters and actor. Um, and so, speaking of that, this is kind of off topic, but I cannot wait to go and see Indiana Jones with him.
Oh,
He just had very unexpected neck and back surgery, so hopefully we can do
no.
that soon, sooner rather than later. But seeing my dad smile watching Solo was wonderful. Um, Also, I think a top moment, and I think it is for anybody that is fortunate enough to get to go, is getting to go to Galaxy's Edge. Getting harassed by Kylo Ren is a top moment in my life. It was fantastic. I remember my husband looked at me and he goes, "This is the best day of your life, isn't it?" And I was like, "One of them, yeah, that was great." But that was I got to go with some of our closest friends right before the pandemic shut everything down. It was in February of 2020. And it I remember walking in and seeing the Falcon and just literally crying.
Yeah.
And getting to go and get a lightsaber. I got Ahsoka as one of my friends was amazing and generous and bought it for me as a gift. I guess it's
Wow.
two.
Wow.
But that was just like, oh my gosh, it was amazing. And just that whole experience of being there and being there with some of our found family that also love Star Wars was great. I don't know. It's an experience that you can't really put into words sometimes. I could be there all the time if I could.
Yeah.
And having those, I look forward to what's to come in the future. I dream of going to a celebration one day. And unfortunately, probably won't get to do the Star Cruiser, but that's okay. But I have really found joy in seeing other people's experience of that. So, I would say so. Those are some of my top moments for sure in the fandom.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, if you want to go on the Star Cruiser vicariously through people, 2 episodes ago, we had David and another listener named Mary on, and they both had just went on the cruiser.
Oh, I love it.
So literally they shared all their experiences and I got to live vicariously through them. So that was a lot of fun. And I got to know, Galaxy's Edge, did you go East Coast or West Coast?
We went to Disney World and it was great. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I do have to confess, David was there with me the first time we went to Galaxy's Edge, and he can attest to I teared up as well when I rounded the corner and saw the Falcon for the first time. I just kind of froze and just stood there
Oh,
trying to take it in.
it's beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Oh, yeah. For being the fastest huckajunk in the galaxy, it will bring a tear to your eye awfully quick.
Yes. I
And
remember.
it's not the Florida heat.
No. My husband literally was like pulling my arm. I was like, I'm not ready to go through the entrance. And he was like, okay, listen, you've got to come in here. Like, you just got to do it. And so he kind of like pulled me. I think I have a picture of social media of him holding my hand and walking ahead of me. But like, it was, just great. So, and he enjoyed it, and he enjoys watching Star Wars with me. It's interesting to kind of have it flipped normally, in some relationships, it's if it's husband and wife, normally the husband is the one that's more of the Star Wars fan, and it's kind of flipped in our situation. But he humors me, and he will watch the movies and some of the anime. Not He hasn't really done the animated shows, but the live action shows and different things like that. He enjoys it with me, and he enjoys me enjoying it. So that's nice.
Good for him. Good for him.
Well, and good for you, Jessica, for being such a good influence on your husband.
I try. He loves The Mandalorian though. He loves westerns. Growing up, he grew up on those, so that's been a show that he has really wanted to watch, and so that's been fun watching that together.
That's cool. Well, you had some really great favorite Star Wars moments and experiences. Those are really cool, and so I wanted to follow that up and just kind of get a back up and get a bit of a broader view and get your take on this. Is how have you seen fandom change through the years?
I feel like I've seen it go through different cycles of positive, before the prequels came out. It wasn't really the world of social media and that sort of thing either. So it was a little different. So if there were people that were hating on things, it wasn't as in your face. Yeah, it wasn't as advertised. It wasn't as in your face as it is now. People make money off of that now, it wasn't monetized to hate something at the time.
Yeah.
And then watching the prequels as a kid and then a young teen, I loved them. They were so fun, and I was just so happy to get to see, Star Wars on the big screen, as a kid, these coming out in first late 70s and the 80s, you don't really necessarily think I'm going to get more of this, or I'm going to get to see this and get my own Star Wars like my parents did, or my parents' generation. And so that was really fun. But then, of course, there was a lot of hate that came with those. A lot of opinions, a lot of hate towards actors. I mean, horrible things like death threats and people like quitting, that being their job because of, the reactions.
Yeah.
And so seeing the negativity there, and then seeing kind of the swing, as they call us prequel kids, us growing up, and us being able to be vocal and be positive and express like our love for it and our love. I mean, I'll be honest, there are not great things in all of, I mean, there's things you can critique and that maybe aren't the best in all of the movies. It just is what it is. So I'm not saying they're perfect by any means, but our overall love for them, I think, is starting to show. And so seeing that swing, and then being so excited for the sequels to come out, and people had very mixed opinions on those. Not just even as 3 movies, but each movie of itself, people have had very mixed opinions on. And so it's just interesting to kind of see history repeat itself so quickly. It's like, did we not learn anything from last time? But then now seeing kind of the positive group of fans kind of go, hey, let's try to maybe slow this down. Let's not do what we did then,
Hmm.
So I've seen it change back and forth, but again, like I said earlier, I'm choosing to try to focus on more of the good that's come from it, and the positive fans, because that is what brings me joy, not arguing with someone on why a movie is not a Star Wars movie, that sort of thing. So, um, but I've kind of seen it go back and forth, and it self-correct itself. But I think as a whole, it's grown to be a better place for more people, and that's overall a very good thing.
Nice. Very nice.
Wow. Well said. Well said. You really hit the nail with Carabast.
The nail on the head. I don't know. Is
Yeah.
that it?
You hit something out of you hit the ball out of the park. There you go. Hey, we'll go
I
with
don't know if I
baseball
could hit a
metaphor.
ball out of a park. I'm not very athletic,
Well,
but
you
I'll
just
take
did.
it. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. So this one, based on our conversation, this question up next is not actually on our list. So I'm throwing you a curveball here. But hearing your story about the Galaxy's Edge and growing up and everything, I gotta know, do you collect?
So I am sitting in my Star Wars room at the moment, is what we've dubbed this other extra room in our house. And I do not collect on the scale that most people do, but I do have some cool art. And I am trying to get all of the Black Series, all of the female characters.
Oh,
And
oh,
I do have a pretty good book collection started. But I don't have, and then I have my one set of lightsabers as of now, from Galaxy's Edge. I haven't really gotten into that yet. But so that's about all I have right now. I would like to do more, but I also am trying to not go overboard. I have a tendency to go 100% in something, and kind of just hyper focus on it and
mhm,
just like obsess on it. And so I've been trying not to, like some of the guys that I did a certain point of view with, and we all, we're hoping to do a live stream sometime soon. But they love the Funko Pops,
yes.
and they're like, "You got to get some." I'm like, "No, I got one Ahsoka, and that's it. I'm not gonna get any more." But then I got like one of the massive Grogu ones, and then
Hmm.
somebody gave me a Din Djarin with Grogu. So, and I love that they're all from The Mandalorian. So those three are together. But like, if somebody gives me one, I'm not. But I'm like, I cannot be obsessive over this and have, because I know I'll turn into a monster that wants like every single one. So.
Hmm. Oh,
So I'm trying to be slowly into the collection of it. I did have a Star Wars Halloween party last year, and
nice.
um I have now a cosplay level uh Princess Leia outfit that I have just not pulled the trigger on getting approved by the Rebel Legion. I just haven't done it yet. That's something I think I would like to get in, maybe, is cosplay, but it's very daunting, and it is, I mean, it's overwhelming.
Mhm.
But it would be kind of just more of a fun thing. Again, I cannot make it an obsession, because that could, who knows where that would go, because that can get expensive very quickly.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I'm dabbling a little bit to see where my sweet spot is on what I want to put more money into, I guess. But like I've said before with my husband, he is so sweet, and we have, even in our living room, I have two framed Star Wars movie posters. Um And so he has kind of been fine with having he likes interior design as much as I do, and so um, it's been very very fun for him to be like, yeah, we can put something you love in our house. So that's been, not that he has to let me. That's not what I mean at all. I said that in a wrong way, but him saying, let's bring some of your love of Star Wars into the house as well is a better way to say it. So that was very great of him to do. So
Love it. Love it. Love it. So, because yeah, collecting can be addictive.
yes.
Quite. It's very addictive. I've honestly, in the last 2 years, 3 years, I've actually had to dwindle my collection down, because before if it said Star Wars on it, I was wanting it. But it got too much. I just didn't have anywhere to put it.
Yes.
So I have dwindled my stuff down, and I have literally my main collecting points now are Rebels and just the character of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, that's great. I love it.
So
You're like focusing on something. That's what I'm kind of trying
yes,
to do too.
yeah, I found, because Rebels is I'm obsessed with. Anybody will tell you that I'm obsessed with Rebels. It has been, I don't know why. It just, from the first moment it aired, I just fell in love with
It's
Rebels,
so
and
good.
oh, it's phenomenal.
I don't know
Yeah.
how people have not watched it. It blows my mind.
Mhm.
It is some of the best Star Wars content, storylines. I mean, oh, it's so good. It's
Yeah.
so good. And the fact that
Mhm.
it's animation, not that animation can't be as good as live action. It's not what I'm
Yeah.
saying, but the fact that it has the um it grips you emotionally just as much is
Hmm.
just a testament to how fantastically done it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100% agree. And it just, I just can't. If I start talking Rebels, I won't stop. So I need to
Another
curtail that.
day, another day.
Yes. Well, we'll get you back on, and we'll do nothing but Rebels, and
Oh,
we'll
I
probably have
love
to make it
Rebels.
like a 10-parter, but because it's a never-ending conversation around here. Um, Before we got one more major question before we go into what we call our speed round, which is just a series of small, quick answer questions. But being through your journey of fandom and the experiences you had, and your time in the fandom, looking at the journey fandom has taken and where it's going, how do you feel about the current direction of the Star Wars saga and its fandom?
I Overall, I am happy with it. Um, there are things that I love, and there's things that I don't. It doesn't resonate with me as much. Um, I, one of the things that, like I've said, I try to stay out of the negativity with the
Mhm.
saga and everything, but one of the things that I love is how, like, we've reached kind of a new generation, and this in itself is going to cause divisiveness, but now we have fans who have grown up with Star Wars that are creating the stories and
Yes.
um creating the projects. And so that is going to alienate some people, and some people are going to love it. And I think the reason why is that the things that have spoken to them personally with Star Wars is what they're going to gravitate towards creating. Because as a creator of any kind, you gravitate towards what you love, what you're passionate about, what brings you joy, and what kind of stimulates that creativity in you. And things touch us differently because all of our lives are different. All of us have had different things that have affected us that create um, different moments in anything, whether it's a song or a piece of art that you're looking at, a movie, a score, anything. It's going to hit you in a different way than someone else, and that doesn't make it better or superior to something else. It's just that's kind of the beauty of it. That's the beauty of art and creativity is that we all can find something in it. But with those fans making and working on the projects now, um, it's gonna hit everybody different, you know. And so that I think is kind of some of the source I think of people that it's not hitting, really being kind of nasty about it.
Mhm.
And to be fair, we all want to feel something when we come and watch Star Wars. That's part of it. It makes us feel. It gives us an escape to an extent of our reality or what's going on, or it helps us think in a different way of our reality and what's going on. Um, and so, like I said, in general, I am happy with where it's going. It is going to be there's going to be things that hit me that might not hit someone else in the same way, and touch us differently. So we're going to see very many different expressions, I think, of Star Wars. Um, and like I said before, while I love the prequels, they have their issues as well as the originals and the sequels. I'm not a hater of the sequels. I'm not a hater of The Rise of Skywalker. Um, but like I do enjoy that movie. I really do enjoy it, and I will defend that movie to people even more than I probably should, or more than I like it. I'll still defend it because I'm an underdog person, you know, and I love. I think that's another reason why I love Star Wars. I love the underdog, um, and so while I do feel that movie was maybe a little rushed, while I do feel like the loss, the horrible loss of Carrie Fisher affected it, um, I personally wish that they had done 2 movies to wrap it up.
Yes.
Um, and I think that could have solved a lot of the feelings or issues people have maybe had with that movie. Um, I just think like I said earlier, it's hard to fully make everyone happy, and it's also hard to wrap up decades of stories in a normal theatrical runtime.
Mhm.
That's almost an impossible task. Um, so I personally would love a director's cut. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I think that'd be awesome. Um, but so I would love to see where Ray goes in the future. I would also love, even though I love the Skywalkers, I mean, I am a huge Skywalker fan. I love them. I love the whiny, needy Skywalker boys. I love them. I love Anakin. I mean, I have been like literally like one of my friends, one of our biggest arguments is she's like, how can you like Anakin? And I'm like, I love Anakin. Like, watch Clone Wars. Like, that will even make you love his character. She's like, no, I will never love that character. But I love Leia. I love Padme. I love Ben. Solo is an incredible character, and Kylo, and I'm sad that that's all we got. But like I will always have a soft spot for the Skywalkers. With that being said, I love the idea that we may get, Old Republic stories. We may get, thousands of years ahead of that, or thousands of years past that, or
Mhm.
different things, or we're getting things like Andor and Rogue One that are telling stories of people that are not force sensitive. Um, so I love the variety that we're getting. My wish is just that people will continue, which I think they are trying their best with this, but people will continue to do their due diligence and honor the what Star Wars was created to be, and just expand it in the best way that they can. And with that being said, still might not like everything, um, but I can have a respect for people creating art and doing something that they love. So I'm hopeful and I am happy with it, and I'm excited to see what comes next.
Oh, well said. Well said. Well said. Well said. I agree with everything you said. So I
I mean,
don't,
listen, I'm holding some stuff back because I got some controversial things and that people love that I'm like not my favorite. So I promise you, you will not love every opinion I have.
and here's the beauty of it. I don't have to.
Yes,
It's your
very
fandom.
true. Very
It's
true.
your fandom. I have my fandom, but we both love Star Wars. So that's why we're sitting down here
Yes,
having this
yes.
great conversation. Because, there will always be stuff that people don't like and people do like. And
Yes.
I know David, like for me and David loved the first season of Visions. I couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
I loved the second season. Second season blew me away. But we had just difference of opinions on that. It just wasn't, but it didn't change anything for us. And it shouldn't change anything for anybody. Because there's just so much out there for everybody to love. There's something for everybody, and there's no reason it should be divisive. And I love how you worded all of that. So all right. Well, we are to our speed round questions. There are currently 5 questions there that we will, and I actually just thought of a 6th one, but I don't. We'll see if I work it in there tonight. Because I was looking at it earlier, going, why don't we have that question in there? We should have thrown that in there. But anyway, matter of fact, I think I'll write it in right now. But we'll go. Dave and I will go back and forth, ask you, and it's just quick, one answer, one word, or one sentence question. We try to make it as simple as can be, just to give a deeper insight into your fandom. Are you ready?
I will do my best.
We'll do your best. Okay. David, my brother, kick it off for us.
All right, here's the first one. Favorite movie?
A New Hope will always be
Right.
my favorite movie.
That's my favorite too. Well, I knew I liked you.
I'm too sentimental. There's no way I can pick another one. Like, will always be my favorite go-to, feel good, dopamine hit movie. Love it.
Very good. Very good. I love it. So the question I thought of earlier that is not on our notes that I feel should be a part of our speed round. So David, remember, we got to add this going forward. What is your favorite show, whether animated or live action?
Ooh.
I know there's a lot to choose from now.
Off the top of my head, yes, there's so many. While I want to say Rebels, because I love that show, and I love the live action. I have to say I love everything. It's a problem. I would have to say Clone Wars.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
I just think it develops some of those characters in such a great way.
Yes.
So.
All right. Cool. David?
All right. Well, you just said character. So who is your favorite character?
This is so hard. Favorites and rankings are my nemesis. It is so hard for me. I did one ranking with a certain point of view, and I told Michael I will never do that again. I hated it. Okay, so right now it is Ahsoka, and it's hard because I have some favorite characters that I love, but right now it is Ahsoka. I have an Ahsoka tattoo. Ahsoka Tano right now is my favorite character.
All right. That's good. Well, then you're super excited for the end of August then.
Yes, I am so excited.
So I think that kind of clues me into what your answer to the next question will be. Would you join the Empire or the Rebellion?
Rebellion, 100%. Like I said, underdog, and I can't with Rebellion, 100%.
All right.
But I am fascinated by people that pick Empire, though, and I love their answers.
Touche.
All right. So here's the next one. Favorite moment from the movies or one of the TV shows?
Oh, this is so hard. Can I say a couple? Like
Sure.
quickly?
Go right ahead. I'll let
Very
you.
towards you. Yes.
One of my favorites is Leia sassing Tarkin in A New Hope. Love it. Her telling him, I knew I could smell your foul stench, as soon as I just love it.
Charming
Her
to the last.
I love it. I love C-3PO and R2-D2 moments. I love their cheesy moments. I love the moment where they're fighting on Geonosis and his head goes and he's like, "Oh, it's such a drag." I love it. It's cheesy. Here for it. I love it. More serious moments that are my favorite in the Clone Wars. I love the moments where Anakin is teaching Ahsoka. Those are so good. A couple other really quick. When Luke throws down his lightsaber and says that he is a Jedi like his father before him. Chills. Love it.
Cool.
Wonderful. Luke fighting Kylo on Crate. Top moment. Him talking to Leia after that. Tears. Love it. And then another top moment for me is Ben sacrificing himself for Rey. I cried. I love it. Oh, sorry. One of my other top moments. I'm sorry. I have to speak of the Queen herself, Padme Amidala's speech. I think I had to the Senate. I think I had that memorized as a child, and that is maybe one of the top moments for me in Star Wars is her just saying what she said. And this is how democracy falls with thunderous applause. Or I know I got that wrong in this moment, but I'm so good.
Very cool. Very cool. So we know you like the saga. So all right. So let's go. The last question in this speed round is your favorite song or soundtrack from the Star Wars saga.
Soundtrack, I think, is The Phantom Menace. I love that soundtrack. Duel of the Fates is one of the most beautifully, emotionally writ. I love the choral aspect of it. I sing and I sang in choir all my life growing up, and so I love it. I love Duel of the Fates. And I mean, who can't not say that they love Across the Stars? I mean, so good.
Yep. Yes. 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 I love it. Oh, perfect. 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 Well, that wraps it up, guys. I mean, that's it. We went through all of our questions. Now we will open up the floor to you. I know you've mentioned your podcast, a certain point of view, which is kind of on sabbatical or taking a break for now, and you're doing just live streams.
Yes,
But
for now. Michael had him and his wife had a beautiful child named Kanan. And I knew you would love that. And he said that on air, so I know that's okay to say his kid's name. And so he is the main host, and he puts a lot of the legwork as far as the recording and editing and all of that kind of stuff. And he, being the great person he is, wanted to make sure he was not just focusing on that and his son and his wife. And we, all of us, understood it and supported him completely. But as time has gone on, we want to get back into it and do some more, at least live streams that will also throw up on the podcast. But who knows? Maybe we'll get into more of that as time goes on. So
that's awesome. We definitely respect that because one thing David and I have always agreed on is families come first.
Yes.
We have a blast doing this, but David and I we're both married. We both have 2 kids apiece, so we our family always comes first, and it's the way it should be.
Yes.
It's we're before we're podcasters, before Star Wars fans, we're husbands and we're fathers. So it's always been our motto. So totally respect that. So, but if somebody wanted to reach out and talk Star Wars with you, is there a way they could do that currently?
Yeah, so I am working on like all of us, I've had some just unexpected things kind of happen in life that has kind of gotten me a little off track of creating content for Star Wars, but that is a goal that I want to do. I think I don't have really anything on my TikTok or anything right now, but I will probably create an Instagram for it as well. And I think it's under that Star Wars girl Jess. And then you can also find us on a certain it's ACPOV crew, a certain point of view crew is the handles for all of a certain point of view podcast, whether that's Instagram, Twitter is Michael normally does the Twitter. And then we also have a TikTok too, but I've got to get that stuff kind of going a little bit more. And then I'll always talk Star Wars and post Star Wars stuff on my personal Instagram. I'm the most probably frequent posting on there and active on there, and it's just my first and last name. So yeah, so easy to find me. No dots, periods, no nothing, just my first and last name. So
Perfect.
yeah.
Perfect. And we'll actually have links to those in our show notes if people want shortcut to finding you and finding a certain point of view as well for when y'all do those live shows when they start back. So perfect. Well, of course, David, if somebody wants to talk Star Wars with you, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, 2 different ways. One is Twitter, and that is at David_Modders, MODDERS. And just like Jessica mentioned with Instagram, you can just look for my first and last name, David Modders. And I've actually, remember Aaron, over previous episodes, I said I would post more. Well, I want to do 4 different posts with 5 pictures each. I had way more than that, but of my most recent trip on the Galactic Star ago this month. So I post all those and check those out, and I'm going to try to do my best to keep adding stuff there at Instagram. But those are the 2 places. How about you?
All right. Well, of course, everybody knows you can find me on Twitter. Of course, the best place at TA Harris 121079. Then, of course, you can always find the show on Facebook and Twitter at SW Reactions Pod, on Instagram and on Pinterest, as well as Tumblr, where you can find all of our show notes at SW Reactions as well. And of course, our emails are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at swreactions@gmail.com. So we always go through and end our shows the exact same way. We try to, yes, you get to experience that with us tonight, Jessica, as we hopefully it's not a terrible experience for you, but you get to experience this week's Star Wars Dad Joke of the Week.
Oh, I love dad jokes.
Well,
Love them. My husband and I love dad jokes, so I'm here for it.
There you go. You see, I like her. So, yeah, I have been encouraged to continue my dad jokes, David.
Yeah, Jessica, I always say that we lose listeners every time he does one. We joke.
Well, they need to lighten up. I mean, come on now. Dad jokes are great.
Well, what's special about this dad joke is it's not mine.
It's not.
David, our pal Terry King messaged me this dad joke today. And I'm like, I have to use this. I'm using this. So shout out to Terry for sharing that with me. So if you're ready, here we go. What did Leia say to Luke when he said he had to go face Vader one more time?
I don't know. What did Luke say to Leia when he had to go face Vader?
What did Leia say to Luke?
Oh, what did Leia say to Luke when he had to go face him one more time?
I wish I could lend you a hand.
Oh my gosh. Jessica loves it. I'm messing it
I
up.
wish I could lend you a hand.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I love it. I was
Good.
walking out of the vet's office when he sent me that. And I about died. But yeah, thank you, Terry, for that joke. Jessica, thank you so much for joining us. We had so much fun, and
Oh, it was an honor. Thank you for having me.
welcome. And as definitely as we were talking about before, you're welcome back anytime you would like to talk Star Wars. So we'd love to have you back.
Thank you.
So, David, buddy, it's been a blast as always.
Absolutely. Loved it. Loved Jessica, you being on. Like you said, we would love to have you back. I love your energy, your enthusiasm, your love of the saga, your knowledge. You were awesome. So please, please come back. And, but yeah, no, had a great time talking the wars with both of you, buddy.
Excellent. And thank you everybody for listening. Y'all are the best. We love y'all. You're the best. We're praying for y'all. Take care of yourselves. Be nice to somebody this week. Just one little smile can change somebody's day, week, or life. So just be nice and be kind. Remember, this is your place for elegant discussion for a more civilized age.
If you'd like to share your thoughts, you can email us at show@starwarsreactions.com for our show notes and the latest news from the Star Wars universe. Visit our website at www.starwarsreactions.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at SWReactionsPod or on Facebook at Star Wars Reactions. If you enjoy our show, please leave a review on iTunes. This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or by Lucasfilm Limited. It's intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars. All names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and the respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Star Wars Reactions unless otherwise indicated. Star Wars Reactions. Elegant discussion for a more civilized age.